Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gong of Vakdulif podcast version, and 大家好，我姓龚，叫龚理查. And this time, I spoke as Chinese language, and so I added I added the Chinese part into the title of this episode, and this time, so the title is "A Man from Heaven became the leader," and the Chinese title reads "从天竺来的一个男人成为首相了." So let me pronounce it again. So I could pronounce that Chinese part well. 从天竺来的一个男人成为首相了. So the translation is so the translation is not the same actually. So Tianju, the meaning of Tianju is India in all the time, and in the all the time, or in the not in the past, or in the all the time, or in the ancient time. In the ancient time, India had been called Tianju or Tenjiku in my mother tongue, and so but actually so Tianju or in India has a Chinese character which means heaven. So which is why so I added the word heaven into the English title, and so I wrote a man from heaven became the leader, and so who I'm pointing out is, of course, so I'm recording this episode. I'm recording this episode in the on October or on in the end of October in 2022, which means that man is Mr. Rishi Sunak, Mr. Rishi Sunak, or the new Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. So whose ancestors came from India, and India had been called Tianzhu in Chinese language in the ancient time. And the conclusion is a significant step toward a perfectly diversified world in United Kingdom or in UK. I wrote only U and K in the description column, or in the section of the conclusion of this episode in the description column. So please take a look at the description column of this episode so that you can read the titles and the conclusion of this episode. And I think that is a significant step toward literally toward a perfectly diversified world in the United Kingdom, not in the US. So there had been a black president in the United States, and who is Mr. Barack Obama, and so but actually so Mr. Barack Obama had a lineage of white person, but actually in the case of Mr. Rishi Sunak, I'm sorry, Mr. Rishi Sunak. So Mr. Rishi Sunak, which is the correct name for the new Prime Minister in the United Kingdom, and so of not of course also I'm a East Asian, and so which is why so I was impressed to know that Indian person was chosen as the next Prime Minister in United Kingdom. So anyway, which is why so I created this episode, and I don't think Mr. Rishi Sunak. I don't think Mr. Rishi Sunak is listening to this episode, or I don't think Mr. Rishi Sunak is would listen to this episode in the future. But actually, so I'd like to say congratulations on his being chosen as a prime minister, as the first prime minister in the history. Or not as the first prime minister, or as the colored first prime minister, or as the Asian, the youngest prime minister in the history of United Kingdom, which is a significant, or which is a historically or and history. Which is a really significant first step, or which is a significant event in the history of the United Kingdom, and not only in the history of United Kingdom, but also in the history of human beings. I think the fact that Indian person became or the person having Indian ancestry or Indian lineage became a prime minister in the United Kingdom is really significant in terms of. I think that is really a historic event in the history of in the history of the entire human beings, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So at last I'm going to drink this booze, and this time what I'm going to drink is a cheap one or reasonable one, and barley, which is the name of this episode, which is the name of this alcoholic drink, and which was produced by Ion Top Valley, which is the name of the company which created this not this episode but this booze or this alcoholic drink. And cheers. So I'm enjoying this can of alcoholic drink directly. So I'm thinking of ending this episode. So the title is A Man from Heaven Became the Leader. 从天竺来的一个男人成为首相了。And the conclusion is a significant step toward a perfectly diversified world in UK. So as a colored person, I'd like to cheer him up, or I'd like to cheer up, or I'd like to cheer up the next prime minister, or the incumbent now the incumbent prime minister Rishi Sunak. So congratulations, and so I'm expecting, or I hope he is going to do well in his own business or in his politics. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you.